Greetings in love and kindness, family. How are you doing today, May 25th, 2017? Greetings to you all. First, let's get started with taking that deep, 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 deep Kundalini breath. Let's connect ourselves with each other. Take that deep, deep breath. And I welcome you to the Conscious Self Healthcare Hour. I'm your host, Karen Khadija Davis-Foulks, #1 international best-selling co-author on Amazon book list for 2016, affectionately known as Dr. K, native Washingtonian and founder of the Arc of Self-Healing and Self-Help, health education for longevity and peace, organization established in 1997, a health and wellness maintenance organization and ministry for disease prevention. I am the one and only conscious self-healthcare educator, and I'm not a licensed medical doctor. I am registered certified lymphologist and a pioneer bioenergetic bioinformational wellness specialist. I'm board certified holistic health advisor. I share information from the non-circular science of quantum health and healing to assist all with making conscious self-healthcare moves. Mental observation view is essential for self-success. I help you understand what your body's symptoms are saying. You see, we create cellular malfunctions, not diseases. Diseases are designed to let you know what is malfunctioning within the body's systems or within an organ. So we create cellular malfunctions that we can correct. This information will rejuvenate your thoughts to live a stress and disease-free life with conscious self-healthcare moves. So my question is, and I'm ready, how can I help you slay your healthcare fears and assist you all with shifting out of chronic disease care stress, stepping up out of the dark ages of healthcare? So I invite you to join me. Sit back, get ready to relearn, rethink, and rewrite your very own prescription plan for better health care, for optimal wellness. So sit back, family. Take that deep, deep, deep Kundalini breath and honor yourself as we move forward and shift from a paradigm that has been controlling our being for much, much too long, disease care. So welcome to the Conscious Self Healthcare Hour. Today, we probably will be under an hour. Thank you for individuals that have gotten back to me since I've started the Conscious Self Healthcare Hour, sharing it on my YouTube channel, K Davis F, where you are hearing it now. You also can visit me on my website, consciousselfcare.com, CONSCIOUSELF care, CARE.com, or you may remember forsellelife.com, a little easier. The number 4, the word cell, and the word life. Take that deep breath, relax your shoulders, relax your body, open up your mind, and see what information can support you with maintaining your level of wellness or shifting out of chronic disease care stress and bring other opportunities to yourself. That moment of silence as you shift your energy to receive as we align ourselves with the oneness. People often ask me, how did I come about my understanding of healthcare? And I can truly say that it was a journey of self-care, of leaving that fear state that I would inherit a disease and I would die very young because of my father and his family and their history. And I'm so glad that I have evolved through the years, and the information now that's being revealed to us through quantum health and healing let us know now that we all can shift our energy. And so I define disease care and health care by using the words from Charles Fillmore from the Revealing Words, a dictionary of metaphysical terms. And so I thought I would share with you today for those individuals that are just beginning to find me on YouTube and tune into this Conscious Self Healthcare Hour. Those that are familiar with me, I hosted my last radio show on innerlightradio.com for the past 5 years, and so you knew my premise. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Revealing Word and the Dictionary of Metaphysical Terms, I'm going to share with you how Charles Fillmore defined diseases, and maybe that will help you shift out of that state of consciousness, because remember, life is a state of consciousness. Disease, he says, an inharmonious condition in mind and body brought about by error thinking. And we have to look at that term, error thinking. Ignorance causes all diseases. He uses the quote, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Organic disease has its origin in mind as truly as any other manifestation. It has become subconscious and needs the power of a Christ mind, a higher state of awareness, a higher state of consciousness, aligned with that true consciousness of the universe. He says to reach and to dissolve the error thoughts that are causing the disease, you must maintain that higher state of consciousness. If you're thinking that you have a disease, that it is incurable, that you must struggle and suffer, then that's what you will experience. And that's why today I'm asking you to bury that thought, that error thought of diseases, and shift that word to cellular malfunctions, because it is a self-organizing breakdown in how the cells are performing, because again, our whole being is based on our conscious thinking and our actions. And the body itself, the human body, will go through different stages and different changes, but we can recognize them as cellular malfunctions, which we can correct that self-organizing breakdown instead of being a victim to a disease where there is no cure and it really doesn't know how the disease came about. We're saying replace that with cellular malfunctions. So what is health? Charles Fillmore states in the Revealing Word, health, a state of being sound or whole in mind and body. Oneness with the Christ mind assures that highest state of consciousness and understanding. That Christ mind assures perfect health. Health is the normal condition of man, a condition true to the truth of his being. Health is formed from within and does not have to be manufactured in the without. That states that health is a state of consciousness and healing is a function of consciousness. So he states, health is from within and does not have to be manufactured within the without. It is the very essence of being, universal and enduring. That which seems to be sickness does not exist in truth. When man becomes so much at one with God mind that he abides in the consciousness of health, life is a state of consciousness, health is a state of consciousness, and healing is a state of consciousness. You see, he enters the eternal peace in which he knows that it is finished. John 19:30 states, "To know God as health, one must take up the study of a healthy mind and make it, and not physical appearance, the basis of every calculation." So yes, community and friends, it's time to develop a new definition for disease and health care, that we truly understand that they are two separate things. And when you live from that higher state of consciousness, that silence within the consciousness, you will know that you are healthy and that the body will go through changes. Those changes can be recognized as cellular malfunctions, and that we can correct those cellular malfunctions. Take a deep breath. Let's process that information. Let's look at our error thoughts on diseases and how we relate to those disease thoughts. And what are they doing for our being at this particular time? You want to shift out of chronic disease care stress. You want to create a whole new avenue for wellness. And how do you get there? It starts in consciousness. You have to shift your energy from that fear state, that false education accepted as reality, that false evidence appearing so real because it's trapped in your state of consciousness to become real, because you believed that you were a victim to your own body, to your own well-being. And we want to help you shift out of that understanding today. So yes, we are relearning, we are rethinking, and we are rewriting a better healthcare plan for ourselves, based on the fact that we understand that everything in our life and in our world begins in consciousness, our imagination. Just like the body has imaginal cells, and those cells shift and change according to how we think and how we feel. Get the feeling of health, get the feeling of wellness. Recognize that you can cause a dysfunction in cells, disruption in their process and their patterns of what they're supposed to do. It can be a stimuli that comes from our food, our thinking, what we put on our bodies. But when we are aware of how things work, how cells work, how cells perform, we can make those necessary shifts. And we can leave out the destruction of pharmaceuticals for our daily care of our bodies to correct our cellular malfunctions. Remember, we can shift out of chronic disease care stress. If you know me, they call me Dr. K. Again, I'm Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks. I'm your host today. And I want to help you slay your healthcare fears. Take that deep Kundalini breath with me, and let's work with the formula from Dr. Samuel C. West. As I said earlier, I am a lymphologist in the non-secular science of medicine, and we use that formula: oxygen pumps representing our cells equals electricity equals power. And that's the whole understanding for healthcare. How well our cells create that electricity to create that power so we can continue to move in this animated body. Take that deep breath. And I want to share with you how I made that shift, how I erased a virus of the mind. And I'm going to also share with you some questions that I was asked from a reporter from an online magazine. Because she says, "Karen, you introduce yourself as the one and only conscious self-healthcare educator. And so, how can someone else become that?" And I said to her that each individual is their own conscious self-healthcare educator, that they are their wellness doctor. I am the only one because I am the only one that has my consciousness, and my consciousness, my state, rules and governs the activity of this physical body. First and foremost, it is true. Mind over matter, even though it's one. mind over matter and our understanding of awareness, our consciousness. We have that state. Our mind brings us awareness. And we want to ask ourselves, what have we been aware of? And how do I shift and understand how to correct those cellular malfunctions? And so I was asked 3 particular questions in reference to that. And I like to start off by saying conscious self-health care is a mental healing or curing disease through the mind. For the disease can be cured with or without medicine by producing changes in the mind of the patient holding the belief in question. You see, disease itself is an deranged state of mind, the cause of which is to be found in someone's unfortunate belief. Remember, believe you can, believe you cannot. Either way, you are right. So we must shift our beliefs. Disease, thoughts, and its power over life is curable, are all embraced in our belief. And that's what we're talking about today. Shift that belief, those value systems that you have been brought up with that make you remain a victim to your own body and your own genes, your own genetics. Consciousness rules and shift what's happening with the cells. You, this big, beautiful human cell that you are, you can adjust that. Oxygen, pumps, electricity, power. So these are the questions that I was asked, and maybe they can help you understand a little bit more of what I share with the world. First question, how does someone become a conscious self-health care educator? My answer, there are no 2 snowflakes alike, and there are no 2 leaves on a tree alike, and there are no 2 human beings alike, not even twins. I am the one and only conscious self-health care educator. The title comes from the person that I am as a conscious individual that studied in the lymphatic system, blood protein research, cellular ecology, and bioenergetics and bioinformational medicine, with studies in the bio field and human body field based on quantum mechanics and quantum physics. You see, in order for me to leave that disease state of thinking at a young age of 16, 17, that I would not live to be 37 because I thought that kidney disease was inherited. And so, unknowing to me what I was doing, I was shifting my consciousness and making myself my wellness doctor starting at a young age. And I tell you, it had a lot to do with my upbringing and studying and being around my aunts and listening to the great Reverend Ike and understanding the power of the mind. So you can be your own conscious self-health care educator when you take control of your thoughts and get rid of that error thinking. The second question that the reporter asked me, what are the 3 most important things to remember when discussing your health with your doctor? Your allopathic doctor, your holistic doctor, your alternative doctor, your functional medicine doctor, your allopathic doctor, whomever you're talking to about your health, which really you should be going to them to assist you with your wellness, because you fully understand the cellular malfunctions that are happening in your body, and you want someone to assist you with a greater level of understanding how to correct those cellular malfunctions. So the question again, what are the 3 most important things to remember when discussing your health with your doctor? This is how I answer that. This answer would depend on the kind of doctor that you are seeing. If it is a physician that has a concentration in Western medicine, cut, burn, and poison, it's a doctor, an osteopath, a chiropractor, a naturopathic, a homeopathic, a functional medicine doctor, a wellness healer. What I would say is that an individual chooses their physician based on their individual needs. In other words, you know why you are going to that doctor, because they have the answers to your health question. You decide to align with that doctor because they're going to bring you about the understanding of what you can do to assist your body with self-correcting that cellular malfunction. Note that you must connect with a doctor that is in alignment with your thinking, not the other way around. If I were going to see a doctor that used tests, I would want to understand those tests and see those tests in real time and the time of my visit, not 3 months later. Times have shifted and changed. So, 3 most important questions, they are already answered before you go to that doctor, because you're not going to be in debate with that doctor, because that doctor matches your state of consciousness. The third question that was asked of me, what do you think it would take to educate patients of their rights or options that you have now, that you don't have to stick to one frame mindset of Western disease, cut, burn to bring you about health care, because we know now that it keeps you in a state of disease care. It tears and breaks the body down, and we want to build up wellness. Take a deep breath. You're processing, you're relearning, you're rethinking, and you are rewriting your wellness plan to optimal health. It would take an act of Congress to put into legislation to inform the citizens of the United States of America of their rights and options to health care. Oh, listen up. By the way, the 95th Congress first session released the dietary goals for the United States prepared by the staff of the Selected Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs, United States Senate in February 1977. 1977. Our government put out a document. In this document, the citizens of the United States of America was warned about diet, medication, and the need to depend on Western medicine to solve their health concerns. One line reads, there needs to be less confusion about what to eat and how our diet affects us. Yes, it is true. 99% of most diseases are caused by diet related. And we can shift that at any moment. As a nutritionist, a life extension nutritionist, I no longer tell people what to eat. I tell them what the cells need. Oxygen pumps. The cells pumps to create that electricity by the raw material that you put into your body that creates that bloodstream and how it needs to be a certain way. So another line reads, appropriate public education must emphasize the unfortunate but clear limitations of current medical practice in curing the common killing diseases. There is a limitation, and we have seen that. And all that they do, the Western medical doctors, in following their protocols and their rules of engagement on how to deal with diseases, they take out you, your consciousness, and diet. Even though in this 21st century they are now shifting in and adding in diet and meditation, a little yoga, remember, life is a state of consciousness. Health is a state of consciousness, and healing is a state of consciousness. And you must vibrate to that state of consciousness of wellness, and that you can correct your cellular malfunction and bury that thought of disease care, and disease treatment. You see, the government just forgot to inform the citizens of this report and the information it contained in. And that's what I do. If you want to get this document, the 95th Congress first session released the dietary goals for the United States prepared by the staff of the Selected Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs for the United States that was released in 1977. the first release because it was so powerful that the lobbies had them pull that first release back and change some of these words because this truth speaks now to what this document said. Connect with me at the website forselllife.com and get a copy of this report to help you understand why so many people have been sharing with you over the years that the first way physically to support the body with eliminating its cellular malfunctions is a change in diet and giving your body the proper nutrition that it needs. You see, people need to be informed of the different healthcare systems available. That Western medicine healthcare system from the United States of America, I'm sorry to say, is the worst healthcare system to choose. For healthcare, there are so many different other avenues to take and not to use it as an adjunct to working with the Western medicine drug-based therapies. We need to make a choice now. We need to become clear if you want to create wellness. I'm talking to you, community, that have been living with your diseases for a long time, and you have done everything that the Western medical establishment told you to do. You've taken the drugs, you've had the surgeries, you removed organs, you've gone through a lot, and you're still seeing or being labeled with more diseases. I want to help you shift that, and this is how we do it. Creating a whole new mindset, a whole new understanding. What is healthcare? Ask yourself that question, community. Write that down. What is healthcare to me? What is disease care to me? And see if there is any difference in how you're working with your condition. Yes, it is true. Western medicine is a reductionist approach to healthcare and has proven to be ineffective, and there are no cures in sight. We as individuals must take the initiative to learn about other healthcare systems and what is our personal responsibility in healthcare for our human body. The body functions the same. Everybody's body functions the same. But what makes it function differently for you and that other person is your state of consciousness. Two people can be diagnosed with cancer, the same type of cancer, given the same type of treatments. One person gets well and the other person doesn't. The only difference is that state of consciousness. What are you believing? More importantly, what do you know and what do you understand? So you can reach a greater level of wellness today when you bury disease care. Step up out of the dark ages of health care. And yes, family and community, emancipate yourself from medical mental slavery. Think in terms of holism. Holism versus reductionism. Think about it. Write it down. You are developing your wellness plan that's going to allow you to move forward and discover who you are. Yes, I discovered that I had been deceived into a belief that made me sick and think that I had a disease, and I had to convince me that I had no such disease. As they tried to convince me that I did have it, would have it, and will grow into having negative kidney reaction because of the inherited genes from my family. But I know better now because I understand epigenetics. The word did not exist when I went through what I went through. And now it's here today. Your task, write it down, epigenetics. How can that word help you shift out of a state of chronic disease care stress? And so yes, I discovered that I had been deceived into belief that made me sick and think that I had a disease. and I had to convince me that I had no such disease, and that my troubles were of my own making, my own mind, what I was focusing on, what I was thinking on. How do I not bring about kidney failure? How do I not have these kidney issues? And I kept thinking about that, and that is what I was beginning to create in my life at such a young age. But I got tired of those thoughts, and I got tired of living in fear. And I just released those thoughts, and I started living a better and a more divine life. And no matter where you are, you can do the same thing. A virus of the mind. Yes, I had to convince me that I had no such diseases, and that my troubles were of my own making. A virus of the mind. I was forced to come to the conclusion that their science is false. Their science is false. I'm not a victim to diseases and waiting for them to find a cure and managing my cellular malfunctions with drugs, pharmaceuticals, over-the-counter prescription toxic chemicals, putting it into my divine body. Remember, go back and listen to the definition of disease and health from Charles Fillmore, The Revealing Word. These definitions will help you live a beautiful and wonderful life. Take a deep breath. Relax. Bring your mind into a peaceful state. Don't panic. Don't worry about what you've been thinking about. Don't worry about what you have done. Don't worry about any lost or removed organs. Take a deep breath, because there is a field that governs every cell, and you can correct that field when you shift your state of consciousness. An example, when a person loses a limb and they say, I still feel it, because everything starts in consciousness, and that field came before that physical leg. And so when the leg is removed, the person still feels, because that energy of that field is still active, and you want to correct that energy in that field. So working with field therapy is the first step, because it's a match in consciousness with who you are. That's why we love energetic activities. We love doing things to bring about a high vibration, sound, music, the vibration in foods, the vibrancy of life. When you feel good, when you read a positive, informative quote to assist you. That's why I'm asking you to hold on to the new definition. Health. Health is a given state, but the physical body once again will go through cellular malfunctions. They're not diseases. When you correct your state of consciousness, you correct those things that come into your life. I'm going to share with you one of my blog posts that I did called A Virus of the Mind. Sit back and put yourself in a receptive state. Release all frustrations, because now you know, and now you can choose a different thought, and your miracle can happen just like that. Just like that, you can shift the consciousness in every cell in your body to be in tune with your new way of thinking, the new activities that you are going to be doing. Take a deep breath, that Kundalini breath that circulates, and everywhere you feel stiffness in your body, hold and breathe into that area. Release that stagnation. Allow the fluids to circulate through the body like they should. A Virus of the Mind by Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks. Energetically speaking, microbes or germs are formed by the power of thought. Thoughts become entities and have identity according to the character of the thought in the mind of the thinker. Ever thoughts make disease microbes. So in the case of diseases, it is an inharmonious condition in mind and body brought about by error thinking. To think this way and try and correct this thinking from an external thought process is working from a mind virus infection in your awareness of life experiences. Mind is another word that represents the universal principles of life, demonstrated in action by the acknowledgement of God energy of presence in all life. You being the offspring of God's energy, you have the power to create. Once the power is realized, you use the privilege and create in the realm of error thoughts, which separates you from the God energy that empowered you with that privilege. Take a deep breath. Because you can create, bring into manifestation your dreams and your desire, your thought that you were separate from God energy, and that it is your mind that gives you the power. So from that thought, that belief, you will create an error. You create a mind virus that spreads like a wildfire throughout every thought and imagination that comes to our state of awareness. And you have blocked out the divine energy of self-love expression, self-creation. You are a creator. You are a co-creator, but you are a creator of your life. Your salvation comes from rising in consciousness. Your salvation comes from rising in consciousness from the error thought of separation. Salvation is based solely on an inner overcoming, a change in consciousness, a change in your DNA response to the error thoughts. It is a cleansing of the mind virus patterns of error thinking. Thought builds our destiny, and they will work in your mind and body in an adverse way and tear down the good you desire to build up if you do not form them from care in alignment with a divine energy of a God state of consciousness. Yes, family, community, friends, and listeners, life is a state of consciousness. It's the title of a pamphlet by Emancipale. In this pamphlet, Emmett states that you build your consciousness with your I am. No one else can do it for you, and you cannot cheat. Nature is no respecter of persons. You see, nothing outside of you can affect you when you are in contact with your higher source. I am that I am. The pain you feel in all your affairs is an indication that the vital forces of the body are at work to bring about a state of balance, harmony, and peace for the health of your thoughts and your cells. Our organs have their origin in mind, and the outer conditions are a direct result of that idea, that belief that you have created in mind based on a false reality of fear or the reality of self-love. It is the God mind that has the power to correct that error thought that the organ is damaged, sick, or unhealthy. What is the secret to the DNA code of the process of cell life? That we can read the blueprint from a thought, idea, or a vision, and we have the power to alter the outcome of the blueprint. We are given the power of creation because that divine energy called God is the spiritual fluid that moves throughout your being continually as the electromagnetic center of your DNA imprint. Take a deep breath. You eradicate the mind virus of error thoughts. How do you do it? By rising in consciousness to the thought of honoring any external stimuli that would have you doubt your power and have you create from fear. Your state of consciousness must harmonize with that God mind to be free from error thoughts of poverty, evil, sickness, pain, and death. This perfect vision heals all diseases in mind, body, and affairs. This perfect vision. Shift that vision. Imagine yourself well. Imagine your body healing. Imagine you feel better based on that God understanding. Providing the body with what it needs, releasing those pharmaceuticals that hold you back, that drowns and suffocates your cells. You want your cells to hear and feel the vibration of the divineness within you. You must rise in consciousness. You must shift that energy. You must change those thoughts. When you enter into the silence, a state of consciousness where you are in touch with your divine mind, you can listen to that small, still voice that whisper. Whatever you believe with feeling, you will create. Whatever you believe with feeling, you will create. Pay attention to your intention and see if you are creating with the virus of the mind. You see, intention or no intention, attention or no attention, you are still creating and manifesting by the will of the consciousness of creation. You were born in an all-knowing state of mind. You were born in an all-knowing state of mind, and there is nothing to learn, only for you to accept. Life alters according to your perception. Alter your life according to your perception. Shift that perception of being a victim to your own body. You are directing that body. You are directing that software, that system that governs this body. And family and community and friends, you want to resurrect that frozen energy. That's all it is. It's frozen energy. That fear, false education seeming real, that false evidence of a disease, and you're feeling great, and you've been feeling great, and you've been doing wonderful things, and you have been even eating well. For 30 and 40 years you was a vegan, a vegetarian, a raw eater, and all of a sudden now they're saying that you are projected and you almost and you're borderline. What do you say? What is your perception? To leave a diseased state of mind, you must leave a diseased system of care. Take a deep breath. You are tuned into the Conscious Self Healthcare Hour with your host, Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks, the one and only Conscious Self Healthcare Educator. How can I help you slay your healthcare fears, family and community? Come aboard my friendship train. We are on a Harriet Tubman's ride to freedom from pharmacide and nutricide, and yes, that sad standard American diet. So family, community, and friends, visit my website, consciousselfcare.com, forselllife.com, and share your wellness story with me. Connect with me. Become a part of the movement, the Conscious Self Healthcare movement. Submit your wellness story. Let me know how you're doing, how you're progressing, how you're moving along, so I can share your wellness story when I return to hosting live radio in September of this year. So take a moment, sit back, process, relax, thank yourself, honor yourself, hug yourself, smile to yourself, and say thank you for bringing me awareness to where I am creating cellular malfunctions, and now I can shift my perception. I can make a change. I can bring about a better feeling. I can bring about a better life. I am becoming my own wellness doctor, because why? I don't force life anymore. Sit back. Time to tune into yourself through the magic of poetry. The Force of Life by Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks. And I leave you today with this. The Force of Life. Stop trying to force life. Let go and let God. Meditate on God's words. Establish your heart on Him. That physical vibration of energy. Root up your fears. Follow the spirit of life. Walk on this direction. Trust in the universal laws of life is trusting in yourself. His words, His wisdom is heard in your actions, not your reactions. The laws are done, perfect, whole, and complete. You see, His work is finished. It is up to you, not Him. Renew your mind. Stop forcing life. Let go and let the vibration of God. Stop struggling. Stop trying. Stop fighting. Come on, community. Let's do this. Just do it. Emancipate yourself from medical mental slavery. Uproot your fears. You see, God granted you the right to a good life. Stop trying to earn the right. It is yours. You have already inherited it. By His will, it is there. Stop trying to force life. Let go and let that high vibration, that higher state of consciousness known as God. I tell you, pride makes excuses. Oh yes, pride makes excuses. Let go of those false beliefs. Humility makes adjustments. Yes, transform your life, not by forcing change, but by the renewing. Yes, family, by the renewing of your minds. Stop trying to force life. Let go and let the vibration of the frequency of creation allow you to bring about this shift that you want in your life. Because what will your health legacy be for your children? The time is now. The change has come. The perception is new, based on the old and the understanding that you are one with the universe, and you govern this physical body by your conscious thinking and your actions. And so therefore, family, community, we are one. Rise in consciousness, shift your energy, and bring about that change that you want. And live without struggling. Live without fighting. Live without managing a disease. Know that you have created a self-organizing breakdown and that you can correct. So how can I help you slay your healthcare fears? Connect with me. ConsciousSelfcare.com. CONSCOUSELF care, CARE.com, and come aboard the friendship train and share this broadcast with a friend. And I look forward to meeting you on my friendship train. And if you are located in the Washington, D.C. area, join me every fourth Sunday. Become a member of the Washington, D.C. Wellology Meetup, because it's all about wellness and you becoming your own wellness doctor. So thank you for tuning in, listening to this broadcast of the Conscious Self Healthcare Hour conversation. Sit back, take a deep breath, look at your notes, answer those questions for yourself, and see if you can shift yourself out of the state of chronic disease, care, stress, and care. You are a powerful, powerful, powerful individual that has the power to create that change that you want in your life. So thank you for joining me. I look forward to the next time. Visit my blog. Just type in Karen Davis-Foulks, Foulks. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and just through the universal vibration of oneness. Peace and love, family. Thank you for tuning in today, and and have a wonderful, 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 wonderful time of creating a new consciousness in healthcare. Peace and love. Take that deep, 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 deep Kundalini breath. Heart to heart, healthy living.